Go ahead.
Good morning. We're out here Monday morning. We spent most of yesterday, Sunday, tearing the Discbine apart. Pretty much have a good idea of what we need. Just wanted to show you simply how they're put together. This would be your number one pod. The pods are the parts right here that turn, have the tops on them with the knives, and they turn. You'll see they're turning towards one counterclockwise, the next one clockwise, and the knives swing out with the centrifugal force, and they meet, kind of shear the grass off. They do a real good job when they're right. We're pretty sure pod 2, I know pod 2 is no good. Pod 4 here, it's also got major problems. The shaft, this is what that is. That goes from this one, came back to this one on the other side, was sheared off. You can see the end of the splines are just basically sheared right off. So that one won't be any good because it'll take off the splines on the inside there also. We still got to get these shafts out of that one and one to make sure those pods are okay. That's kind of being a hard process so far.
We have Mr. Inspector Kitty here. Shivers is out here.
And when we call for parts, we're going to talk about maybe getting a set of new pods and using I'll call it hardware, our own parts there to put on top and everything else. And like this is where it hooks into the gearbox up there to drive the whole thing. But with the machine being older and the stress that's been put on these through the years, and I still, like I said when I wrote about it, I haven't figured out what I actually hit or whether that shaft broke off and that in turn ripped the other ones. How it really happened, I don't know. Maybe that went first, so those 4 didn't work, and then they got caught, so this one here whipped all, broke off. But regardless, I'm going to look into new pods.
Incidentally, the last pod we had to buy was one that I broke when I was mowing because I ran into a piece of metal that was sticking out of the ground. I didn't see it, and so that was the last one we had to buy. That was what, 3 or 4 years ago, I think.
At least that, hasn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. So I really haven't done a lot of mowing since then.
Well, it's like a lot of jobs. If one person does it, I mean, now I know where everything is in all the fields. I don't have to say, oh, remember time 3rd way around up by that big oak tree, there's a little bit of a ridge, there's this. You do it so you know. And it's kind of second hand, you know what you're doing. But since this is the 31st of July, and we've had kind of a bad summer, everything going weather-wise has been terrible. We've had our fair share of breakdowns. We lost a heifer and a calf when she was calving. Just things like that. I kind of jokingly call it my summer from hell, but we decided that I did, I've been talking to myself, which I do a lot, that maybe I ought to change my attitude and look a little more positively about what's going on and try to get this.
Hi, Beanie.
So some of the parts that I took off the mowing machine, I've kind of...
He replaced all these before.
Yeah, the day before this all happened. But these are those knives that I showed you that turn, one eye going one way, one the other. These 5 were probably on the inner end. That's why they're not wore down, rounded like these other ones. But I saw nice flowers when I looked these over. I will take and weld each corner of those. I'll find a washer that I like to put in there for like a center. Then I'll take a rod like these, some of this re-rod, because I have a lot of it. I'll take it and put it through there. I bend them. I just take them and I don't I don't get a specific way I want to bend them, but I just put them in something, try to put a little curve on them. You know, some things I just put a little, or this one I'll put a little more. I'll probably fiddle with that one and take and do it a little more eventually. So when I put them in, I have them staggered. One of these flowers will be up here and the other one down there. And then as that comes through this hole, I find different knots. I like this one. I like the wide knot. And I'll stick that on the end and weld in there and weld it back to the washer I use on here. And that's my finishing touch. That's what I like on them.
Inspector Kitty.
I try to find some sort of an old article that'll off from like the ones I made that I sold up there to John Katz's last open house. That was actually off from the inside of a wheel of an older wagon. And I've got a couple like that. I just got to try to get them apart. They've been froze together out in the fields for years. But I'll eventually find my perfect vase for these, or I'll make something, because I tried it. I put a couple together and then I just took like an old pail or something like that. But I think with the use of old things, you got to have something to match it with. But this is the beginning of our attitude change. We're going to go towards the happy. We'll be a Phil Robertson again, and happy. But everybody have a good day, and we'll catch y'all later.
Have a good day, everybody.